In a quiet village in northern New Mexico, there is a small adobe chapel where people do something that sounds almost impossible at first. They kneel down and take dirt from the floor. Some carry it home in tiny bags or glass vials. Some rub it over painful joints, scars, or places where illness has touched the body. Others bring it to loved ones who are too sick, too old, or too far away to make the journey themselves. To outsiders, it may look like ordinary earth, but to generations of pilgrims, the dirt of Chimayo is something more. It is prayer made visible. It is hope you can hold in your hand. And for many who have walked through the doors of El Santuario de Chimayó, it is connected to stories they can only describe as miracles. The story of the chapel begins in the early 1800s with a legend that has been passed down for more than 2 centuries. According to tradition, in 1810, a man named Don Bernardo Abeyta saw a mysterious light shining from a hillside near the Santa Cruz River. Drawn to the glow, he began to dig. Beneath the earth, he discovered a crucifix associated with Our Lord of Esquipulas. The crucifix was reportedly taken to a nearby church, but by morning, it had returned to the place where it was found. When this happened again, people began to believe the message was clear. This was where the shrine was meant to stand. By 1816, the chapel had been built. It was small, humble, and made of adobe, but the stories surrounding it quickly grew. People came to pray. They came seeking healing. They came because word had spread that something sacred was connected to the ground itself. Inside the shrine is a small room known as El Pochito, the little well. This is where pilgrims gather the famous holy dirt, or tierra bendita. The earth is not treated like a souvenir. For believers, it is part of a prayer tradition, something they receive with reverence and use with faith. Over the years, stories began to collect around Chimayo like candles around an altar. One of the most moving is the story of a baby named Ruby. Ruby had been adopted from China, and after arriving in the United States, doctors reportedly discovered that she had a serious problem with her hip. Surgery was expected. The family was preparing for a long and difficult process involving a body cast, recovery time, and the possibility of more procedures later. Then a family friend visited Chimayo. She prayed at the chapel and sent Ruby's parents some of the blessed dirt. The night before the scheduled surgery, Ruby's parents rubbed the dirt on her and prayed. The next morning, according to the testimony, the doctor found that the situation had changed. Ruby no longer needed the surgery they had been expecting. A cast would still be used to stabilize her hip, but the major procedure was canceled. For her family, it was not just a medical update. It felt like answered prayer, arriving at the exact moment they needed it. Another testimony tells of a couple who had been trying to have a child for years. They had spent money, time, and emotion chasing a dream that kept slipping away. Then a friend gave them blessed dirt from Chimayo. According to their story, within 2 weeks, they learned they were expecting. 9 months later, their daughter, Simone Louise, was born. Stories like this are why Chimayo is not only connected to illness and pain. It is also connected to life, birth, and prayers whispered by people who have almost run out of hope. One of the most dramatic modern testimonies comes from a man named Jeff Dunn, who said he had been diagnosed with ALS also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. ALS is a devastating diagnosis, and his account describes a long season of fear, prayer, and searching for healing. Jeff visited Chimayo and used the holy dirt. He also brought some home and later returned with his wife. According to his testimony, he rubbed the dirt on his body while many people around the country prayed for him. The story includes a doctor's letter saying that after repeat testing in 2023, he no longer met the criteria for an ALS diagnosis. Whether someone hears that story through the lens of faith, mystery, medicine, or all three, it is easy to understand why it would become part of the shrine's powerful reputation. At Chimayo, people do not only come because life is easy. They come when the stakes are high. There is also the story of a woman named Amy, who was facing a frightening diagnosis involving masses and nodules in her lungs. Before treatment, friends gathered around her. They prayed, anointed her with soil and holy water from the Santuario. Later, according to the testimony, tests showed that the nodules were almost gone. Afterward, the group returned to Chimayo. This time, they were not only asking for help, they were giving thanks. That return journey matters. It shows the other side of pilgrimage. People do not only walk to Chimayo in desperation. Some come back in gratitude, carrying flowers, candles, photographs, and memories of what they believe God has done for them. Inside and around the shrine, that gratitude becomes visible. Visitors have left behind crutches, braces, canes, photographs, written prayers, and small objects connected to loved ones. In the Santo Niño Chapel nearby, children's shoes have been left as offerings, each pair suggesting a story that may never be fully known to strangers passing through. Those objects are part of what makes Chimayo so powerful. A crutch leaning against a wall is more than a prop. A child's shoe is not decoration. A faded photograph is not there by accident. Each one represents someone who came with a burden, and every year, that faith spills out beyond the chapel walls. During Holy Week, especially on Good Friday, thousands of pilgrims travel to Chimayo. Many walk for miles. Some begin in the dark, moving along the road with flashlights, handmade crosses, rosaries, and quiet intentions. Others walk with family members or friends, turning the journey itself into a prayer. Some walk from Santa Fe. Others come from farther away. They walk for healing, for forgiveness, for grief, for gratitude, or for someone who cannot walk at all. By the time pilgrims arrive at the adobe chapel, the dirt is only one part of the story. The road, the chapel, the legend, the footsteps, the candles, and the silence all become part of the experience. Chimayo is not grand like a cathedral. It does not overwhelm visitors with marble or gold. Its power comes from something quieter. The worn wood, the earthen walls, the small room where people bend down and touch the ground. The sense that thousands before them have stood in the same place and asked for help. And maybe that is why the story has lasted. For more than 200 years, people have gone to this little chapel in the hills of northern New Mexico with prayers they could not put down anywhere else. Some left behind canes. Some left photographs. Some carried dirt home in a vial. Some returned later to say, "Thank you." The mystery of Chimayo is not only whether the dirt itself holds healing power. It is why this small patch of earth has become a place where people still believe miracles can happen. And in a world where so many sacred places have been forgotten, Chimayo remains. Quiet, adobe-walled, waiting for the next pilgrim to arrive. This story has a personal connection for us here at Unexplained Places on Earth. Our lead producer, Marcia Chase, was born in New Mexico and has always carried a special place in her heart for Chimayo. In fact, Chimayo left such an impression on her that the little chapel in northern New Mexico is referenced in her recently finished novel, Book 1 in the series, The Battle is Over the Souls. Follow the link below for updates on the novel's publication. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next mystery. The invitation sounded harmless. A desert gathering promises unity and contact, but Kate can see what the others cannot. As the ceremony opens a doorway beneath the Superstition Mountains, Kate realizes the danger is not invasion, it is consent. Following a trail of symbols, she must uncover the truth behind the false light before the world welcomes in what it was never meant to serve. The battle is not coming. It has already begun. Join the early reader list. Get your free reader's guide. Echoes of modern tech in ancient texts. Follow the QR code link